What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about a very common misconception that women have about men who have high self-esteem or confidence. But before I start, listen, I'm now evaluating dating profiles and online presence profiles. So whether you're on Instagram or some dating website somewhere, if you need your profile evaluated, if you want me to look over your profile and tell you what it feels like from a male perspective, if you want to know the vibes you give off, if you want to know why you're attracted to certain men or why certain men aren't actually in your DMs or anything like that, click the link and get your profile evaluated. It's super affordable, but I'll give you real insight on how you can improve your profile and make the most out of your online dating experience and the perceptions that men have of you while looking at your profile. Now onto this topic, right? We always hear about confidence. Women always say they want a confident brother who can step to them right. They want a man who believes in himself, leader, alpha, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know the archetype of the guy that women describe. The problem is usually, no matter how high value or how popular or how many options a guy has, right? That's usually not an indicator of his genuine self-esteem. Ego and self-esteem are two different things. A lot of y'all think y'all got a confident man or a man is being confident with you when actually he just has a big ego. He's displaying ego. And ego, to be honest, is the biggest human weakness that we can have. Right? Every time we fall, every time our mouths get us in trouble, every time our jealousy and all of these entitlements that we have internally get us in trouble or start to ruin our relationships, every time we have conflict management issues and issues with loyalty and respect and boundaries, it's our ego that pushes us to those places. Right. So a lot of you are looking for confident men. That's every woman's prerequisite. I want a man who's confident. It's like the top 10 list of every, I want confident. And if he acts confident, then all of a sudden you like him. If he acts confident, then he gives you butterflies. If he's bold, if he's confident with you, then he stands out from the crowd. I get that. I understand it. But if that's the prerequisite, if that's the thing that you're going for, please know the difference between confidence, self-esteem, and ego. Because confidence and ego are not self-esteem. What you want is a man whose self-esteem sustains him, not his ego, because the ego needs to be aggressed onto other people. The ego needs to be implemented. It's not always at peace. When you look for a man's confidence in his approaching you, you're just watching this man's ego. You're watching his display of ego a lot of times. That's why so many of you pick the guy with options, and then once you're with him, as the relationship has settled, you realize he's insecure, he's jealous, he's controlling. Why? Because you picked a man with a big ego. You didn't pick a man with high self-esteem. A lot of you have big egos, but you have very low self-esteem. I give you an example. The most beautiful women that I know, the most beautiful women that I coach on a very regular basis are usually the women who have the lowest self-esteem, the women who struggle with their self-image the most, or their self-worth the most, their self-value the worst. They're the women who get treated the worst and allow it because they have big egos, but they have low self-esteem. They're the baddest chick at the club. They rocking that freakum dress. They look better than everybody. They're extremely confident when they're moving around, moving about. They have the bad B attitudes that these guys be talking about. They are often calling themselves the alpha chick or, something like that. They have that going on. But because they have a low self-esteem, they allow themselves to be treated like garbage. Self-esteem is the barrier that a person puts around their heart, not ego. The ego can't protect the heart. The ego is the attitude. Self-esteem tells a person, I don't need to put anybody beneath me to be great. I'm great because I'm me. Ego tells a person, they need to know that they're beneath me. I need to show them. I need to prove to them that I'm smarter, I'm prettier, I'm more capable, I'm more competent, I'm more important. That's the ego when people are trying to be more important, when they're trying to control things, when they're trying to dominate, when they're trying to qualify themselves and prove themselves, when they're trying to put people beneath them and put people in their place and check people. That's the ego. I know a lot of women who are super gorgeous and have big egos and compare themselves with other women very, very favorably. I'd be on the phone a lot of times and the woman would be talking about, she ain't got nothing on me. She ain't got nothing on me. I ain't trying to be mean or nothing, but she ain't. I'm fine. I'm bad at her hair. I hear this so much. And then I ask you, well, tell me about the relationship. How did these men treat you? How did this man in particular that you want to fight for? How did he treat you? And it's like, shit. So for all that ego, they have no self-esteem. Self-esteem is self-protection. It is your defense. It is your security. And the people who get treated like garbage have very low self-esteem, even if they have big egos. The ego is a sense of entitlement that you see in men who need to sleep with a woman before they decide if they like her. The ego is what makes a person brag about the things they have. The ego is the thing that tells a man to tell you that he has options and he don't have to deal with this garbage. The ego is what tells a man he doesn't have to answer to no woman. Or the ego is what makes people difficult to deal with. But the ego often wears a mask of self-esteem. The ego controls the emotions. The people who are emotional, are moody, are easily upset, or easily triggered, they live in ego. They default to ego. The easily offended are always sitting in their ego. Big egos look like confidence. They look like self-esteem. Those are not the same. If you listen to the rhetoric in the Red Pill community comment sections, what you see on display there is a lot of ego. That's where that anger comes from. That's where that hatred and that vitriol and that frustration and that disdain for women comes from. That's a man's ego on display, right? Self-esteem doesn't have that much energy for anybody. Self-esteem is at peace. People who need to put you in your place, need to see you pay or be humiliated. These people who need you to know that they're high value, they're in their ego. But their self-esteem is probably as low as the average very beautiful woman who gets treated like shit. The difference is a man's ego is aggressive and dominating. A man's ego is very dangerous. A man's ego seeks to control. So be very careful about the guys you pick. Does he have great self-esteem? Or does he have a big ego? Those two are often confused. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Follow me at KFA24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.
Hi there, and my name's Jennifer. I'm from California, and I'm here to give a reference. If you're thinking about coaching with Kev Hicks, definitely do it. I saw Kev Hicks for coaching on several different occasions, and he helped me out of a very painful, very dark situation that I was in a situationship that I had got myself into, and I couldn't seem to emotionally, spiritually pull myself out of it. And he was just a lifesaver for me. Literally, that's what he was. He's very bright, very honest. I didn't feel judged. I felt that I could be honest with him, and he definitely gave me sound ground advice, actions to take. He encouraged me to get into therapy, which I did. And if you're thinking about going to him, please do. It's the best decision you could ever make. Thanks.